Yeah. I've heard this question many times come in seminars around the country, but you know where I've also heard it? I've heard it on the phone when teachers have been ringing me in tears and saying, you know, I've been trying to get the department in Darwin, the education department in Darwin, to give me time to learn the language so I can really communicate well with the students in my classroom. And that's the sort of response that I was given by people that, you know, people right up in the department. Those people see that Aboriginal languages are primitive and backwards, and there's no educational advantage in learning one of the original languages. Those teachers would say to me, I can't even control the classroom. I can't even control the classroom. I can't even tell the kids, hey, can everybody just look this way at the moment? Can everybody do this? I can't even give them simple commands in a language that they understand. So most of the time they start just talking to each other in language or signing each other in sign language. So they're communicating with each other, and I'm trying to cut across it. And because I'm outside their communicational bandwidth, so to speak. They don't even hear me. I'll give you an example. This happened once with one of my sons. He was working in a classroom helping as a teacher's aide. And he was sitting there because he spoke Yolngu. And the teacher out the front was trying to get the attention of the class. She tried for 10 minutes to get the attention of the class, with the kids talking about what was happening on the weekend, where they'd gone and all that. And my son just sat there and sort of let it happen, because he wasn't supposed to participate as teacher in the classroom. He was supposed to just help a couple of these students that needed some extra help. And after about 10 minutes, he just said, "Wei, wala nukturu." He said, "Hey, everybody, be quiet." And they just fell silent and looked at him. He was able to give a simple command. And they looked at him. And he just pointed to the teacher out the front. And they all turned to her, expecting something from her then, which they were disappointed. Well, they weren't disappointed, they were shocked, because she broke down into tears and ran from the classroom. We're sending teachers into foreign countries and we wonder why it's costing a fortune. It costs anywhere between $140,000 to $240,000 or $200,000 to recruit and put a teacher into community. We spend no money on helping those teachers even learn how they can give simple commands in the classroom. And of course, there's a lot more that they can do with the language if they learn it. They start to learn the language, they'll start to learn the culture of the kids they're working with. Because immediately you start to learn language, you start to learn their culture. You then have a greater ability to be able to speak with their parents. Parent nights in Aboriginal communities almost don't exist, because the teachers can't not only communicate with the students, they can't communicate with the parents. Aboriginal people in these situations are doing their best to communicate across the communication gap between their language, Australian, and English, the boat language. The Australian is not understood by the teacher who comes from Australia. We need to be doing this better. We can be teaching people language, and they can be going out there better equipped. They will never learn all the language, but they'll learn some of the commands, and they can concentrate on even some of the concept language. So if they're trying to explain a particular thing like osmosis, they can find terms in the language to be able to explain osmosis in seconds. Yes, osmosis in seconds in the original Australian language. DNA we can talk about in 3 minutes with a few images and good language these days. So the subject level is not a problem. The problem is the mindset of people in the education department, both political and professional bureaucrats, who have this mindset that there's no good that could ever come out of a primitive Aboriginal language. Well, sorry, that's the naming of the settlers, the derogatory naming of the settlers. Settlers, when they first came to Australia, and that is the problem. That is the problem, that derogatory mindset, rather than seeing opportunity and the way that the future can be changed here by equipping teachers to speak the local language of where they're going to. And guess what? Some of them will become very good at speaking the local language, and they'll stay. They'll stay for years. And it won't cost this fortune that it's costing now with teachers coming and going, coming and going. One Yungal principal, assistant principal, said to me when we were talking about this subject, they said, Richard, I can't even keep up with the teachers who are coming and going. I don't know how any of the kids in the classroom can keep up with it. And we're wondering why the attendance rates of schools are so bad. Just do something about equipping teachers to come into the classroom and you'll see almost immediate results with 1 and 2 years about attendance at that school and the outcomes of those kids. Because we learn Australian to speak to Australians.